So one of the announcements that Microsoft made slightly before Mix was the Nokia to use Silverlight in the S40, S60 and MAMO powered devices. Now that gives a huge range of devices that Silverlight is going to be addressable, but obviously they're from a company that could be seen as one of Microsoft's biggest competitors, especially in the mobile space. How do you reconcile we've finally got lots of devices to we have to work with another company that's in the same space, fighting over the same user base, fighting over the same portfolios?
Right. So Silverlight is for everyone at the simplest level. I mean, the goal is that Silverlight will be everywhere, that it's useful in the browser, it's useful on all mobile devices, on the desktop, etc. So we already have Mac, Linux. You know, we're working with the Linux community so that there's the Linux version of Silverlight. It's on the Mac, it's on Windows, it's in Safari, and it's in Safari, Firefox, obviously Internet Explorer. So I think that's really one of the most critical components about Silverlight. So when people think about Silverlight, we want them to think about the fact that it's for everybody, it's everywhere.
So obviously this has been tried many times before. You could take 5 letters, put them on a Scrabble tile and go, yeah, they tried to do a write once, run anywhere. The most notable ones, I suppose, in the mobile space are J2ME and Adobe's Flashlight. So is it a light version of Silverlight that's going to be running on mobile handsets?
So the plan is that Silverlight is Silverlight. So what we want is, we don't want there to be a real fractured approach to it. So first you'll get Silverlight 1 on devices, and then you'll get Silverlight 2, etc. And the goal is that there is one thing called Silverlight. There won't be a Silverlight Lite. And that so that you can take your skills, you can take your code, you can take your assets, you can move them around. Now we're not saying write once, run anywhere as far as the we think what's significant is not whether you have to recompile an app, because quite frankly, if you take a desktop app, huge desktop app, and then move it to a tiny phone, there's work that you need to do to make it a good experience. But your business logic moves over, most of the code moves over, etc. So I don't think that promise that has been promised before is really the right promise that people should be making, and it's not the most important thing. I think learn once, apply anywhere is probably a more significant promise that we're trying to make.
I mean, I take it there's been no decisions on how it's actually going to be distributed, for example. Is it in the firmware? Is it a downloadable? Is that being decided and not announced, or is that a case of we just have no idea yet?
I've heard things, but I don't think we've announced that yet. It's going to be good though. So everything I've heard sounds great. So this is a very exciting deal for us. It's going to make a big difference for developers, for Symbian developers, for Windows Mobile developers, and it's going to help blur the line, break down the walls between all these different areas, so that it's not so much about being a web developer, or a Symbian developer, or whatever. You'll be able to target .NET and just go anywhere with that.
I mean, is there a case that Windows Mobile is becoming more the sort of enterprise choice of device, and the Nokias are going to be seen as the entertainment and media focused mobile? Is it a case of you kind of see we're strong there, we're weak there, so we'll just partner with Nokia to make sure we're in that space as well?
Right. I think this is really more of a function of Silverlight's for everyone, and we want to get it to everyone, really, more than it is anything else. How the industry shapes up is anybody's guess at this point in time. It could end up that way, it could end up a different way. But right now it is really just about getting Silverlight out everywhere that we can.
I mean, you've talked about a small runtime base for the PC base, which I think you're on the order of 4 or 5 meg.
Yeah.
You're talking about, is that a similar sort of footprint size that we're going to see in a mobile runtime size?
Probably, but I'm not sure. So I really couldn't guess. It's obviously not going to be, since we want it to be consistent, it can't be wildly different than that. And obviously it can't be really larger than that to be successful on a mobile device.
And how much integration do you need with the hardware manufacturers? Obviously on a PC, there's a graphics card, it's reasonably standard, you've got all the Microsoft drivers, there's a nice big screen there. Mobile devices are much more, built, each screen built for the device, each interface built for the device. Yes. I mean, what sort of obviously the idea is to take that challenge away from the developer and for you guys to take it on. So as a result of that, mobile phone cycles about 9 months at the moment between devices. How do you keep up with that?
I think that a lot of this stuff, we've seen this on the PC already, right? With graphics cards, you never know what kind of graphics card somebody's going to have, and they vary wildly. They're all over the map, and they're orders of magnitude that they keep releasing new graphics cards all the time. So we're already familiar with that aspect of it. Same with CPUs. We've got quad cores. We've got people that are still using old 386s, 486s, whatever. So yeah,
my mum still runs a 486.
Yeah, exactly. You go to visit for a holiday or something, and you're like, oh, gee, I can't believe I have to use this.
And you have that same in the mobile space, but on a much steeper curve. A lot of people would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're sitting here recording this on one of Nokia's phones. Yet you look at one of Nokia's S40 phones, and it's a 128 screen, maybe 512K of memory. That's a huge difference.
Absolutely, and that's where the write once run anywhere thing really falls down. It just doesn't make sense. Why do you want to run? Are you really going to run the full version of Office on a mobile device? Not today, maybe in the future. But even then, you wouldn't want the UI to be the same. But you would want to be able to save the business logic and some of the connectivity and some of the assets and that sort of thing. So that's what we're trying to do, is make it really easy to move projects back and forth. But I think it's irresponsible to say that you can just take a desktop app and run it as is on a mobile device and the user's going to have a good experience. That's the problem. Technically possible? Absolutely. A good idea? Not necessarily. So that's not the focus.
So one of the demonstrations Microsoft have had at NixOid, of course, is Silverlight Mobile. And Tammy Melamed from Weatherbug had the honour of being the first mobile Silverlight to go on display. Now, Tammy, you demoed both with Series 60 and Windows Mobile, but
right.
My understanding Series 60 is so early that basically Microsoft handed you the phone, and the second you got off stage, it was away again. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit, first of all, about Weatherbug.
Okay, so Weatherbug is a company that started about 15 years ago. We built the largest weather network in the world. We have over 8,000 weather stations deployed across the globe. The majority of them are in the UK and in the US, but we do have a deployment in the UK of about 100 weather stations already.
Okay, and the Weatherbug is how just like somebody like myself can just pick up the weather wherever they're going to be.
Exactly. So the Weatherbug have a consumer. We have a consumer division that builds consumer application. That the majority of them are free. There's some subscription based, but the majority are free. And anyone around the world can pick up a Weatherbug widget, gadget, whatever technology they want, and just watch the weather for their location.
And obviously it's already on mobile, but you've got it running on Silverlight now as well.
Right.
And we've got a Windows mobile device running it, but you were saying because it's the same screen size and format as the Series 60 device, it was the same code.
Right. And we actually put it live on our website with the same size, so it's the same code running on our website too. So basically it's an application that lets you see weather conditions for your location. This is in Las Vegas. As you can see, there's not much going on here, so we won't see any weather. This is the forecast. You can see hourly forecast. Here you have another option. You can bring in the detailed forecast for the next 2 periods. If I can hit that. Then you get your hourly forecast that you can scroll down through and see all your current location. Now, we don't have any alert. We don't have any alert now, so we cannot see any alert effects. The weather is pretty nice.
So from a standing start, how long did it take to get this Silverlight mobile client for Weatherbug running?
From concept to mix, we had 3 weeks and 2 days.
So I mean that's pretty rapid.
Yes.
Compare that to your previous mobile versions.
Well, our previous mobile version worked off a mobile API, or what you call native API of different phones. So you got the Symbian API that you develop in C++ for. You got the BlackBerry API. You got all kind of native API that's pretty hard to use. With the Silverlight API, it's very straightforward and simple. You design in Blend, so you don't have all the design and fitting the window and changing the frames and all that stuff. Elements that take a lot of time on the phone because the phone UIs are not GUI, are not very advanced system usually. So Silverlight give you all that almost for free. The next nice thing is developing the browser, and you can work with XAML, and you can work with the XML to feed data. We actually use JSON here to feed data live into the phone in real time. So the development was almost like developing a web page in the level of effort, but the outcome is a real full-blown application, look and feel. That's why it's so easy to do.